A wonder strike from Cristiano Ronaldo saves the blushes of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after another terrible performance. But the god-like ability, prowess, clinical clutch edge of Cristiano Ronaldo sees Manchester United through. They pick up a point. Champions League qualification is still within their hands. Will they be able to pull it off? Will they be able to turn things around? Nobody at this point knows. Nobody at this point knows. Not a single soul. But Ollie lives on another day after a terrible performance. It's almost you've got to separate those two brilliant moments from Cristiano Ronaldo tonight, scoring a brace, scoring his 5th goal in 4 games in the Champions League, and the abysmal performance from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's men tonight, because they were atrocious. And those things do need to be looked at. Those things do need to be reviewed. Those things do need to be spoken about. They simply do. We can't just sit there and ignore them. We can't just sit there and pretend that they didn't happen. We can't just sit there and act like Manchester United were good tonight. We can't just sit there and act like Manchester United would. One second here. I'm having a bit of problem with something. Sorry. Manchester United weren't, at times tonight being taken to school. They really were. They were being taken to school tonight at times. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. I'm not getting any of your live comments come up on my StreamYard, so I can't put them up on the screen, but I can see them on the YouTube right now. Do me a big favor and smash that like button before we go any further. I want to delve into this in a lot more detail with you this evening. Make sure you get that done. The troll is hitting the dislike button. So my wonderful, beautiful viewers, smash the like button for us right now. Support the Football Terrace, irrespective of your team. If there are super chatters coming, I might ask KJ if he can put them up, because they're not coming up on my StreamYard for some weird reason this evening. I'm seeing that one, but nothing else is coming up here. Maybe it'll load in later. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you right about now this evening. I'm going to try and move this comment section over so I can see what it says. Here we go. CR7, the GOAT. He is. And let's start on Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't want to start on a negative here, because we have witnessed over the last 15 to 20 years something sensational when it comes to Cristiano Ronaldo. He is an absolute superstar football player. There is no doubt about it. He's a superstar. Only Lionel Messi is his equal in world football. Both goals tonight, excellent from him. Great finishes. The build-up play for the equaliser was brilliant. And he is just sensational. And I'm happy for him. And I'm glad for him. And I really thought Donny van der Beek was going to go and put the ball in the back of the net in those dying moments. But it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. But the rest of the team's performance tonight, and this is the big focus. The big focus is the team's performance, because that's where Manchester United's problems lie. That's where Manchester United are going wrong. That's where Manchester United are going backwards. That's where Manchester United have no hope of silverware under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There is no consistency in the performances from Manchester United Football Club. Zero. Absolutely none whatsoever. It's just abysmal. Abysmal beyond belief. We have a super chat here that's come from Nabil that says Eric was class. Oh, Eric Bay. Yes, he was. You're right. CR7 is just the GOAT. I seriously don't want to comment on Ollie because it's improper in public, but I'm done with Ollie. That guy is just an arsehole. Victor here says, Terry, the performance was bad. Ronaldo saved Ollie's job again. Ronaldo's 2nd goal. Wow. Comment here from CFC Florida that says, Man United living on the knife edge. Champions League, Cristiano Ronaldo carrying Ollie with his individual brilliance. And that's all tonight can go down as. That's all tonight can go down as. Individual brilliance only. That is it. That is it. We have another super chat here. Again, I can't put them up on the screen. I'm not too sure if KJ can do it on his end, but no, he can't. So it's obviously a super chat issue that isn't allowing that to happen. And KJ's just signaled through to me. So very sorry for YouTube not pushing the comments through. But he says that Ollie is the most luckiest manager maybe in the history of football. We are that random box in Mario Kart. You don't know what you get. Eric Bay shout out. Yeah, Eric Bay was excellent tonight. Varane obviously went off injured. Maguire, just an absolute abomination of a performance from him. A super chat from Freddie says, Chelsea fan, Ronaldo, best athlete of all time. In 6 years since he's 30, he has more goals than Thierry Henry's 22-year career. Pogba and Maguire for you. Always so bad is what Freddie's got to say. KC with the super chat says, Bruno is one of the most weird midfielders in the world. Jesus, he can't hold the ball or dribble past a 100-year-old defender is what KC's got to say about. See, look, Bruno had a hard game tonight. He was being man-marked in the second, and I was sitting there screaming at my TV. I'm like, right, he's being man-marked. Ollie, make a tactical change. Do something to free Bruno Fernandes up. Niente. Nothing. And you know what? When he made the changes and Donny and Sancho came on, there was an improvement. Not because Bruno was having a bad game, because it gave the opponent something different to think about. Ollie's changes are so predictable. Jerome here says, I don't care what people say, but Ronaldo is the GOAT. The man carries every team where he goes, 36 years old and still incredible. Yeah, we know how good that man is. He's an absolute phenom. He's an absolute phenom of an individual. He truly is. Let's get this stream past that 1,000 like mark, please, ladies and gentlemen. Trolls out in their thousands tonight. Let's make sure we smash that like button in support of the terrace, in support of me. I know you're all fans. That's why you're here watching. Let's get that up for us right about now, people. I'm going to try and do some of your normal comments that are coming through as well. It's just very hard because StreamYard's down tonight in terms of the comments coming through. Let's have a look here. Sancho and Donny came on for 5 minutes. Felt sorry for my boy Sancho. And I agree. Like, we were playing so poorly. They should have easily been given 20, 25 minutes to try and change something. Bruno was being marked out of the game. We also have to think about Man City on Sunday. We've run Bruno into the ground again. Ronaldo, another 95 plus, well, including the 4 minutes, it's like nearly 100 minutes for a 36-year-old again tonight. He's got to play again in a few days. It's just atrocious. And I will say this now, and I am going to say this now, and I mean it. Irrespective of the last-minute equaliser, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to go. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to be sacked. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to be relieved of his duties tonight. He simply has to be relieved. He won't be. He won't be, but he needs to go. He needs to get out of here. A lot of people will say we were like this the whole time. This is the worst we have been under Ole. This is the worst it has ever been. Point blank. Period. Since day dot. It ain't ever been this bad. You look at our current run. Look at our current run of form as a football club. We are scraping by. Last-minute winner against Villarreal. Last-minute winner against Atalanta. We beat Tottenham, but we beat Tottenham that were just not playing for their manager. It doesn't count as a win. It doesn't count as a win in a normal way. Scraped past. Atalanta play better football with us. They've got Darun in their team. Darun in their team. Now, we can look at individual players. Pogba poor. Maguire poor. I get people want to criticize them, and I understand why you do. Darun. Zabacosta. These people balled out against Man United tonight. They're not even balling out consistently in their own league. Tonight they did. Liverpool, of course, slapped us apart. Leicester destroyed us. Look what Arsenal just did to them. Villarreal outplayed us. Everton outplayed us in the second half. Aston Villa outplayed us. West Ham in the League Cup outplayed us. Young Boys outplayed us. Newcastle we slapped. Wolves outplayed us. Southampton outplayed us. Leicester we slapped. We've literally been good in 2 games this season. 2 games out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 2 out of 15 performances. I said it this morning, and I'll say it again now tonight. If you give this club one more penny, you deserve this. This is on you. The Glazers will not change until money stops. They only sack when money stops coming in, when Champions League football isn't achieved. Oli isn't good enough. He has the squad. He has the team. He has the depth. I believe, barring a CDM, there is balance in this side if you orchestrate it right. If you orchestrate it, it works. The nonsense I see spoken about. And yes, Pogba had a terrible game tonight. Beyond terrible. Abysmal, in fact. One of the worst performances I've ever seen from him in a United shirt. Maguire, awful. Let's see a world-class manager in his pomp take over this club. Let's see what he can do. Let's see what he can achieve. Let's see what he can deliver. Let's see if he can turn it around. Let's see if he is able to make Man United a better team. Let's just test that. LVG past his best. Jose over the hill. Moyes and Oli not good enough. People keep saying we've tried everything. We haven't. We haven't employed a manager on the way to his best or at his very best. We haven't employed a Pep, a Klopp, a Tuchel, a Conte. We haven't taken a single manager like that at their best. We haven't. It's been nearly 10 years. 10 years. 10 goddamn years. 10 years. Jerome here says, I don't care what people say. Ronaldo's a guy. Sorry, I had that one. Sorry. Zotta Stevens says, Eric Bailly, man of the match. Saved Paul and Harry Maguire. He did. Sib says, strip Maguire of the captaincy and give it to Ronaldo. Marble Halls here says, Oli is clueless. No goat Naldo, and you'd have lost. No game management, counter-attack and moments, like Neville said. I feel for all United people. Guyan here with a super chat says, at what point do people start to blame the players for the lack of will and desire? There's no doubt about that, my friend. The players need to be looked at. Paul Pogba, for me, shameful what he did against Liverpool when he came on. Shameful tonight. I can take bad performances. I can't take a lack of effort. I can't take a lack of desire. I can't take a lack of trying. Just absolutely shameful. Shameful beyond belief. Shameful beyond belief. It really, really is. Over 2,500 people watching, less than 500 likes. Hit the like button, viewers. TFT provides us great content. Thank you, CFC Florida, for that lovely shout out, my friend. James Craig here says they will never be truly bad enough to get Oli sacked because of the individual quality, but you never get good enough to try for trophies. You're stuck. And that is absolutely spot on and probably the most accurate analysis that you could place towards Manchester United Football Club. Never, ever going to be good enough. Never going to be good enough to challenge for trophies with this manager. You're just not. And there's always going to be the question marks. Are the players inconsistent? Is it the management? Give the club a world-class guy. Look what Tuchel's done to certain players. Look at how Loftus-Cheek looks in a Tuchel system. Look what Jurgen Klopp did for Jordan Henderson. It was despised by the majority of the Liverpool fan base. Look what he did. Look what he did. I'm sorry. That's about management and structure and knowing where to use people. We don't have that. KC says, Zidane not coming to your Tin Pot club. Enrique, baby. Enrique busy. Well, yeah, who is available? That's the big question if Oli goes. I want to go to some calls now. KJ's coming on first to have his say. I'm also going to share the link for you to phone in this evening and have your say. Oli somewhat saved by Cristiano Ronaldo. I do want to speak about the GOAT as well tonight. We will take positive calls as well as people that want to rant and rave or just have their say. It's entirely up to you. The link to call in has now been shared. I'm going to pin that into the live comments section as well. Let's get the likes up, please. Nearly on 600. A massive thank you to all of you that have made that possible tonight. KJ's here with me now. Let's go. Yes, KJ, what you saying, bro?
Hey, listen. What Oli gets away with, how he does it, I don't know what the hell, what kind of judge is banging, but it's just getting hilarious now. It's getting hilarious. When that goal went in, I burst out laughing. Because one, it had to be Ronaldo, of course. It had to be Ronaldo. But 2, again, some kind of moment of brilliance, magic, just beautiful. Something happened again for this guy. How? How does he keep getting away with his foolishness? And what makes it worse is that the football board that we have, actually I shouldn't call them the football board because they're not. They're just a board of bankers. They will see this as a good thing. He's done it again. The players always continue to play for him. We got to give him more time, more games. Stop giving him more games. Stop. He is drowning. This is now abuse. I am now calling out the board and the Glazers for abusing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for allowing him to still be in this position. Today's game management and tactical management was terrible. Absolutely terrible. It was a disgrace. That first half alone was sackable. Sexy goal, but a sackable first half. When you have players like Van der Beek, Jadon Sancho, Mason Greenwood on the bench, why use them? I've been Terry, you've been saying about Sancho and Van der Beek. People have been telling me about Sancho. People saying things about Van der Beek. Maybe not taking their chances. Maybe not good enough. You saw them come on for flipping 8 minutes, change the game, link up play, football 1-2, getting in behind. We've seen that. That's quality right there. But yet he chooses not to play them because he's afraid. We have young players, quality players, that if you allow the chance to build a system for, can thrive. The reason why people say, there's so much imbalance and there's going to be so much work for this manager to do, is because Ollie picks Fred and McTominay every flipping week. We haven't seen Van der Beek get games. We haven't seen Sancho get games. We haven't seen these permutations that could happen. Put creators on with Ronaldo and look what happens. It's just man, it's just hilarious now.
You know, mate, it is, and as you say, like, I want to see these players do something when they get an opportunity. It's an abomination to give Donny and Sancho 3 minutes. You know, Scott McTominay was doing very little today. He was on a yellow card. You know, we went 2-1 down after 56 minutes. You know, make the change at 60. Give them half an hour to impact the game. You were going to bring Matic on anyway. You put Matic in the middle, was more of an anchoring role. You give, you know, I was happy to see Bruno come off. Again, he brilliant in the setup for the second goal. Didn't need to stay on the whole time. He's being man-marked out the game. Say, listen, Bruno, we need you for Sunday anyway. We're going to make a change now. He has to be more willing to do that, mate. It's honestly, it's just embarrassing now. Daniel with a super chat, a man like Daniel, Terrace Daniel, says it's not even Judge anymore. United are just run by the company from Prison Break. It's above everyone's pay grade. Listen, it's just out. I mean, when he hit the shot as well, Ronaldo, again, this is what's getting painful for me. And I want to ask you this question. How conflicted do you feel emotionally? I want to cry and celebrate at the same time. It is honestly, bro, it's awful.
Bro, this is why I laughed. It's why I laughed. Because if he had lost, actually, to be fair, I actually don't believe that loss would have changed anything, personally. But many people would have believed if he had lost, yes, that is definitely a notch on him, like him stepping closer to getting the sack. But it went in, and I just had to laugh because I was like, what the hell is going on? The way this man survives everything is getting scary, and my football club is suffering for it. We've just seen Spurs get pammed 3-0 by this guy. And they're thanking him. They're saying, thank you, Ollie. They're thanking Ronaldo. Because it pushed their manager at the door to bring in Conte. And I'm sitting there like, rah. This whole losing thing, that people want our team to lose. Is it a viable option? Because right now, it's like, what else is there to wish for? Because if I want long-term success, if I want the football to improve, if I want this year to be saved, if I want the young players to maximize their talents and develop, and if I want the older players to put in one last push of their final years of playing football, I want it to be underneath a manager who's good.
Mate, and I hear you as well, and time is slipping away. We'll get you back on with the panel, mate. Top man KJ, thank you. Next up, oh my Dizzy in the house with us now. We're closing in on 800 likes, people. That's amazing. So thank you. Oh, my Dizzy's here with me. What you saying, bro?
Yes, sir. First of all, how you doing?
I'm fuming, mate. Fuming, mate. What do you want to say, bro?
You know what? For me, it's a case of it's not. I'm not even like pissed. Like, it's kind of like apathy at this point. You remember when I sent you a message like a couple weeks ago? I said I had a realization about this United under Ole at this point, and at that time, my realization was we're actually Arsenal. Like our games don't mean nothing. We win, it means nothing. We lose, it means nothing. We're gonna finish somewhere.
No, we're losing you, mate.
It just doesn't mean anything. So at this point, I'm watching games and I don't care. We win, I don't care. We lose, and we draw, I don't. It's peak. It's peak.
Mate, no, listen, I totally understand, and I'm just in this sort of space where I understand more and more now. Like there are certain Man United fans that want to see us lose. There are some that are like, I want to see us lose, and people are getting angry about it. But it's because every time something like this happens, I feel like it gives Ollie another every sort of last minute equalizer, last minute winner. It gives Ollie 2 more games, but we're just kicking the can down the street. But we're going nowhere. We're going nowhere.
And the saddest thing for me is when we signed Ronaldo, I did a video explaining how much I love this guy and what he did for me and how important he was in me loving football, right? So to waste the end of this guy's career, that's the saddest part of it all for me. But it's apathy at this point. It's just one of them, innit?
Mate, I hear you. Oh, my Dizzy, thanks for coming on, bro, and having your say. Top man. Thank you, my friend.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Next up on the show, Canadian Cam is here with us now to have his say, bro. A draw, a last-minute winner, but another abysmal performance. Give me your thoughts, mate.
I'm exhausted, man. Like I was exhausted that whole game, especially the second half. I mean, again, it's a draw. Like the apathy comment's a good one. I kind of have I don't have expectations at this point. It's kind of just we're gonna get through the group, which will be nice, and we'll see where we go from there. I'm living on that Jose mantra: make it to the quarters, and anything can happen, which will be nice. As far as the game and players, I mean, Bruno, I just love watching Bruno play. I don't care. People who talk shit, it doesn't make any sense to me. He's just phenomenal to watch. I do think something has been overstated, and I'll be honest, I don't fully agree with everybody on Bailly having this amazing game. I thought he had a decent game, but a lot of his recoveries were just that. They were recoveries. When you're recovering and you're making last-ditch tackles and doing all that, that means you're getting beat somewhere, right? That's how I saw a lot of them. If I'm going,
I hear you on that. I saw a few people have pointed out in the comments, and I've seen people on Twitter talk about how both goals came from him coming out of position when he didn't need to. So yeah, there were mistakes in there. Yeah.
He does, and I get it. Like everybody wants to talk about him being way better than Maguire, this or that. And I'm not saying Maguire was terrible today. He was awful. So nobody think I'm saying that. He was so bad. But that's what happens, right? When you have one group that just wants to really just go at another player, they're not watching for what they should be. Listen, he was better than Maguire for sure, and I do want to see him play more. It's unfortunate that Varane got hurt again. It's starting to be kind of a pattern in his career, which is upsetting, but you know what? We had to take that chance with him. He has been injury prone. Anybody who's been paying attention in Spain, this is not a new development. Like he has been getting injuries throughout his career. So we'll have to survive without him. And it's going to be tough sledding. I mean, like without Ronaldo, it's like we'd be in tough, but at the end of the day, we have Ronaldo. And I think that kind of statement that everybody likes to make, oh, where would we be without Ronaldo? It's like, I don't know, where Barca have been without Messi all those years. Where the Spurs have been without Kane.
I do hear you on that. I think it's, you know, I said it the other day when everyone was, oh, if Arsenal didn't have Ramsdale, they might not have beaten Leicester, but they do have Ramsdale and they did beat Leicester. And that's it. Your goalkeeper making world-class saves shouldn't be scoffed at like Mendy at Chelsea. You shouldn't go, oh, he wouldn't be as good without Mendy. Yeah, we wouldn't be as good without Ronaldo. Do you feel, though, that this is just prolonging the inevitable or keeping Ollie in his job longer than he should be here? Because do you feel like there is a tangible chance at legit silverware this season playing the way we are?
It's kind of, I mean, I'm not going to say it's mind-boggling because it's not. Like, we all understand the board's trash. It doesn't make sense for me after the Liverpool game. That's it. You kind of need to, the only reason, and I said it before, the only reason I think we haven't made a move is because we don't know who we're going to get, right? Because that's how I look at it. And everybody's saying, go get whoever, but then we'll be kind of back in that whole cycle. It is wild. You're not wrong. We are literally just delaying the inevitable. And maybe we go and get Who's out there right now? Who could we get? Is there like Luis Enrique's managing?
Barring Zidane, who is reported he has no interest in coming to the Prem, there's nobody that's considered world class who's free. Everyone's at a club.
What's his name? The French dude. LeBlanc, like he did play for us too.
Oh, Laurent Blanc. Yeah, I mean, but no one really considers him world class. To be fair, like there isn't a Pep, a Tuchel, a Klopp level manager who's available. There are good managers, but it's going to cost. That's the maddest bit now. If we now want a world class manager, we are going to have to pay millions of pounds to get them out of their contract, millions of pounds to get rid of Ollie, and it could end up costing us again. It's another hemorrhaging of 10 to 20 million pounds by this football club. And that's why we just waste money. We just waste so much money. We really do.
One more thing I did see, like I watched the video earlier, like when you're speaking about the Conte thing. So I stand on the side of like, I didn't want Conte because of footballing reasons, plain and simple. I watched a lot of Chelsea during that season. And I think he's a great winner and he's fun on the touchline. But then when, the reports come out, it's because of Ed Woodward's failings and stuff. Like I agreed with everything you said there because, okay, hold on a second. Like if you're going to announce we're not making decisions on football reasons now, that's where it's getting pathetic. If you're going to come out and say it out loud, it's a little, because his contract's 2 years with Tottenham. And the only reason I would have said bring him in is that if it was 2 years,
it's not 2, it's 18 months.
18 months. So it's just like, there's not much risk, but for me, like the only reason I didn't want him was footballing reasons. But by saying that, does that mean him coming in wouldn't have made us winners? Right?
Mate, no, mate, I hear you completely. Listen, Cam, great call, mate. Thank you for coming on and having your say. Top man. Thank you. Next up on the show, a whole lot of LYES is here with us now to have his say. Welcome back to the terrace, mate. What do you want? What's on your mind?
First, they call you crazy. Then they understand, my man. How do you even explain what we just watched, Terry? How do we explain what we just watched? It's I think you've said it a few times now. It's just delaying the inevitable. And I kind of laughed when that Ronaldo goal went in at the end because it's a great result. It probably puts us in pole position still to qualify for the next round. If we had lost today, I think we'd be in huge trouble because we still have to go to Villarreal. But I said it on the last show when that guy said beating Tottenham will give us 3 points, but where is it taking us? I just feel like we're kind of going through the motions at this point. We're like, okay, we'll take it game by game. One game we'll win, one game we'll lose. Hopefully it doesn't get Ollie sacked. And I was thinking today, I'd actually like to really hear your view on this, Terry. If we had lost tonight, and then we had also lost on Saturday against City, or whether it's Sunday or Saturday, what were we going to do?
The question is, everyone's got an opinion. Nobody really knows. The club doesn't know what it's. That's the weirdest bit. The club doesn't know. This whole, I saw one of the reports today that said, oh, they're really impressed with the way he changed his tactics. Do you see what happened today? We got an injury, and then we went back to the same formation we've been using anyway. Varane's out. Like, we're going to probably have to play that way because Varane's now injured. Lindelof was injured as an example. And we were getting opened up today in the same way with 3 at the back as we do with 4 at the back. It made no difference. The only reason on Saturday we looked any good is because Tottenham are worse than we are. That is it. Like, it's the whole. And again, if you're a football person, forget you and I that watch football. We're fans. If you run a football club, you should be able to recognize this. If you can't, or they can't. That's why we're in trouble. It's an abomination.
But that's my question. Like we know, right? We all know now. It doesn't matter who plays, what formation, what system. It's going to be the same dog shit football. But my question to you, Terry, if we had lost tonight and we lost against City, what do we do from here? There's no, like you guys were just talking about it on the last call. There are no available options anymore. We have now, forget about this game by game basis. Even if he loses the next 10 games, who are we going to bring in at this point? And I feel it's so frustrating because we're in November. We have the best team we've had in a decade, in my opinion. And the season's over by November.
Oh, it's atrocious. Listen, bro, we'll get you back on with the panel soon. Stay backstage for us, mate. Top man. Thank you. We had some super chats that I missed. I can't put any up on the screen because StreamYard's playing silly buggers today. SS said, stop lying, guys. Ollie is the best thing to happen to Man United in a long time. The Red Wolf said United need a brand new management, both for the team and for the executives. The club is in turmoil. I completely agree. Sam Bob says, Terry, you are the quintessential individual brilliance FC. No tactics, no identity, no style. Ollie, luckiest manager of all time. Sose says, Varane without Ramos, scary hours. And Love Liverpool says, spot the fake fan. Clearly talking about a whole lot of LYES. Next on the show, we're going to go to Pav. Pav's here with us again. Closing in on the 900 like mark, ladies and gentlemen, which is amazing. Let's keep smashing that like button for us if you're just tuning into the stream, and subscribe to the Terrace. Thank you to everyone that's hit it so far. Pav's here. What you saying, mate?
Boy, man's got more lives than a cat, bruv. Like, I can't believe we've pulled out another result, even though it's not a win. But if we hadn't have scored there, we were third in the group and probably most looking like to drop into the Europa, because Villarreal and Young Boys ain't going to be easy either. But another awful performance. Injury to Varane probably don't help the team. But as long like I want the guy out, but I don't want our best players like Varane to get injured. Maguire, that guy just needs to be dropped. I don't know what it's going to take for him to be dropped. Constantly getting bullied week in, week out. You've got a short guy at Luis Muriel, like battering you non-stop. And I don't know what's happened to him, but I'm just getting to the point where I've had enough of Maguire. Luke Shaw was kind of putting in stinkers again. Scott McTominay, last week he was all right, but it was Tottenham. Today it was a bit awful, yet Pogba come off. Not like Pogba had a great game, but McTominay, I was like, he's getting a red card, but I don't know how we managed to like stay on the pitch. It's kind of like I don't feel happy watching this team. I said on the weekend, we're probably not going to get a manager this season. We could probably drop into the Europa and they'll still keep him. This club's just like got to a point where you can do what you want. I see all of you, man, putting out your Glazer out stuff. I'm not getting involved with that because I've seen it for 10 years, nothing changes. You could sit there, Glazer out, protest and whatnot. They'll go for a bit of liquor paint on the stadium and everyone's got their dicks out, sucking them off, buying shirts, getting involved, like all this like Ronaldo hype. I've gone past that phase of actually caring about this whole Glazer out thing because I know nothing changes with the club. But on the Man City game on a Saturday, I think we're going to get pammed again. I've just got that feeling we're going to get pammed. It's going to be Bailly and Maguire at centre backs. He can't go to a 5-back. We ain't got enough squad depth at the back now. Could be ugly on Saturday afternoon, man.
Oh, it will be Liverpool-esque as far as I'm concerned. We'll be going up against a truly brilliant team. With they're going to take us. They're going to take us to school. They really are. Pav, I really appreciate you calling in, mate, and having your say. Top man. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Next on the show, Danny Devil in the Details is here. What are you saying, mate?
You know what it is? I'm still angry. In the last half an hour.
Your signal's not great.
Oh, bad. Sorry, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah. Got you. No. Danny's gone again there. Try calling this back, Danny. Next on the show, Fixer's with us. What are you saying, Fixer?
Yo, man. What did I tell you guys, man? See, so what's happening now is the club is divided within itself, right? Solskjaer and the Glazers and the board are now against the fans, you know. It's got to that point. Like, even when we win, we're disgusted by it. Like, can you imagine a scenario like that where the fans are actually disgusted that their own team won because it allows the manager to stay there an extra day? It just shows you how bad things have come.
Yeah.
I mean, but the problem is it comes down to money. United just gave Solskjaer a contract, right? It's going to be very difficult. And to be very honest, I kind of understand this, you know. It hasn't even been 6 months since he signed this contract. You know, the ink isn't even dry. So what are they going to do? Fire the guy and pay him, what, 7 million to sit on the couch? You know, he's put himself in this scenario. As we're suffering, but I guarantee you Solskjaer is suffering more because every single game is a struggle. This guy has no peace in his life. Every single game is a fight. Mentally, that must be really challenging for the guy, and I feel a bit sorry for him, to be very honest. But saying all that, Zidane is there. If it goes too far, we just have to bite the bullet against Zidane, and that's it.
Listen, Fixer, thanks for calling in, mate, and having your say. I just hear the dejection. You just hear the tired voices of Man United fans now. Jesse Dyer with the super chat says, Ollie on CBS with Kate Abdu. Okay, saying the Liverpool result was unacceptable. Clearly it is standards is what Jesse said there. JTT Williams says, Ronaldo shines in a team not built for his strengths. Ollie is like a guy trying to drive a Ferrari at 50 miles an hour in first gear, is what JTT Williams has got to say. We're going to try Danny Devil in the details again, back on the show. Nearly on the 900 likes, people. Massive thank you for that. Danny's here. What are you saying, mate?
Yeah, hopefully I don't drop out. So I'll be quick. I feel like I'm stuck in a time loop. That's why I'm angry but calm at the same time. I figured out about 6 weeks ago, even if Ollie does everything necessary to get fired, they will just leave him like a zombie, just like a dead man walking. Have you seen The Walking Dead? That's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is. He's a walker. He's just a walking dead man. But these guys, they did this to Mourinho. We knew he was done, and they stretched it out for as long as they possibly bloody could. And they're doing the same thing now. But they haven't learned from the mistakes. This is worse, because they haven't learned from their mistakes. There's no plan. There's no contingency. Just hire. Just do what normal football clubs do, Terry, when they don't have a plan. Do you know what you do?
What?
You come up with one. That's all. You just come up with a plan.
Yeah.
That's simple. You don't have a plan.
You look at Tottenham.
Just get an interim manager. If you don't want to settle on someone, I know Lauren Blanc isn't world class, but just get an interim manager. This time, don't give that interim manager the job. Yeah. And actually settle on a plan. Create an actual football structure. We don't know if we can trust Murta and Fletcher's competence, but they're football people. Just give them the flipping power. Let's see if they can do something. Just not Woodward. Just not bankers. Just not bankers.
No, mate, and I agree with you. And we've all had different debates and different conversations on here over the last few years in relation to this stuff. But it's all coming home to roost. And Conte may not be your favorite, but our rationale and reasoning for not wanting to bring him in is not what you want to hear. If you literally got a report from Laurie Whitwell saying, look, we spoke to Man United and they, Ollie's job is under pressure, but if they do replace him, they're looking for a manager with a specific footballing style that would actually make you go, all right, you could actually, do you get what I mean? Like if the report was along the lines, and there are some reports of Brendan Rodgers has got admirers and they like the idea of Maurizio Pochettino. Our problem is we don't trust them. Because we don't trust them, we can't take anything they say overtly seriously. That's the big thing for me.
I don't even think it's that, Terry. You know what it is? Conte's a rare manager. So he's just been eliminated from the list, and it just so happens most football managers today that are decent play attractive football. It's not by us making a good. It's just by fluke. It's just. By
I hear
fluke.
you, bro.
You know what I
do.
mean?
I do. I hear you. I hear you, bro. Danny, listen, man. I'll catch you on Friday, my guy. Thanks for calling in and having your say, brother.
Care,
really appreciate it. Thank you. Next on the show, Mo's here. What are you saying, Mo?
Just tired, Terry. I'm tired of this football. When Ronaldo scored, it was a great moment, but that's it. It was a moment. I didn't really go up and celebrate. I had a smile on my face, but there's no enjoyment anymore left now. It's just watching the games with no emotion. I don't get excited watching Man United play no more. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like you're stuck in a bad dream, and the dream doesn't end. It just keeps on going and going, and you don't wake up from the dream. You don't wake up and say, "Oh yeah, he's been sacked," and we're getting new manager in and we're changing. I don't see this club changing ever, Terry. I think we're going to be stuck with the bankers. We're going to be stuck with this boring football, and we've been talking about it for the last 8 years. I see us talking about it for the next 5-6 years. I don't see anything changing. I think the football's been boring. We had Donny van de Beek and Sancho. I think Sancho, I don't get it. Like £100 million, 77 million pounds spent on one of the best young talents in world football, but yet we can't fit him in, Terry. How does that work? Can someone
Do you know?
explain that?
Do you know what? Do you know what it comes down to for me? It's, and I don't. There'll be a phrase that some clever person knows that I don't. But it's almost, we've given him what he wants, and I'd boil it down. The working class response would be Ollie's bottled this season, but it isn't actually bottle. It's incompetence, and I think when it comes to managing a squad of this caliber and this quality, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is unconsciously incompetent. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that he doesn't know what to do. He thinks his methods are going to work. And actually, sometimes you can get a bit of tune out of a better player. When they're at the level of these individuals, he just isn't getting the best out of them. And the problem is the expectation has gone through the damn roof.
Terry, that's a great point. I've noticed something today. He can't manage technical flair players. He can only manage them. You know, the basic players, like the McTominay, Fred, that keep it simple, that don't do anything fancy. He lacks those kind of players. But you know, the flair players, I'm talking about the Anthony Martials, the Sanchos, the Donnies, the Pogbas. He can't manage those players because they're technically gifted. They're flair players, and he can't incorporate them in his boring system.
Mate, I understand where you're coming from. That there is something in that. I can't. So, again, the oversimplification is he's just not a good enough manager. He has no system. He has no style. I think he struggles to get the very best out of the best players, and he really does. Go on, mate.
It seems like he's a dead man walking. I agree with that point, Terry. It's like someone just needs to put him out of his misery. Like, how can you, from game to game, Terry, like to fight every single game? That like, how can you manage a football club every single game? You're under pressure, Terry. Like, you can't go into a game and say, you know what, let's just play flair, expansive, attractive football. Like, every single game, Terry, he's under pressure. Like, is that Mourinho, Terry? Just bloody hell, man.
It's done. Listen, Mo, thanks for calling in, mate, and having your say. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Cheers. Next on the show, I'm going to go to Sigmund. Sigmund Judge is coming on to have his say. What are you saying, buddy?
Hey, Terry. Always a pleasure to listen to you and your feedback on United. I'm going to be positive, and the only reason I'm showing the shirt is to show that I am a United fan, not just on a wind-up. You know, you've talked in you know recent years, but you know more specifically in recent days about the running of the club, right? Yeah. And I think, in parallel to your thoughts, do you not think that the club could be in a worse state? Don't get me wrong, I know that sounds like I'm lowering standards, but given our lack of faith in the people that run the club, and considering, for example, how previous managers were treated, especially like Van Gaal, basically getting the sack on the day he won the FA Cup, I do wonder if, even though this is a struggle to watch at times, and I wouldn't say like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's whole reign has been a struggle to watch. I think it's been a disappointing beginning to this season. But do you not think that, just in terms of the inner workings of the club and actually staying with someone, I think there's other reasons for it. They've stayed with Ole because if it was anyone other than like a club legend, the club would be toxic, and the stands at Old Trafford, you'd be hearing, okay, there were some boos at half time against Liverpool, but
mate, let me just interject for a second.
Sorry.
Sorry. I get you. I don't know what the word for it is, and I've only ever seen this in films, but they speak about it. And again, a clinical psychologist could probably explain this. If somebody like Sir Alex came out and like told us the real inner workings and how bad it is at the club, it could implode and completely collapse, and you never know what's coming out the other end. It could be 20 years, 30 years of turmoil. Maybe there's this element of just stop, treading water as best we can. We're drowning, but we're not quite gone yet, if that makes sense. you know, I often, you know, sometimes people say, I wish the government would just tell us the truth. I don't ever want to really get the full truth about what goes on behind the scenes at government level. I think it scares the living daylights out of us, you know. I've got a friend who works in anti-terror in the police force. He's told me some stories. I don't want to hear that shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to live in ignorance. And I think there is an element of truth somewhere in that, again, we are asking for Ollie to go. The next appointment could be even worse, even if it's a better manager. My hope, though, with all of that is that the focus has to go on the Glazers. I said it today. I got called out again by a lot of people. Everyone who puts money into this club, buying a shirt, buying merchandise, renewing your season ticket, you are enabling this behavior. Now, you are feeding the habit. And until every single football fan that says they love this club proves they love this club, it won't stop, because the Glazers only care about making money. So there is a very simple and very easy solution. Stop them making money. And we have the power to do that, but nobody's willing to.
You know what, Terry? There are plenty of old United shirts on eBay. Wait it out a year. Get your shirt if you need to have every shirt. Get it on eBay when everyone's flogging them cheap, right? Because that's the deal's already done. So if you feel that you can't detach yourself from the club in that way,
you say the deals are done, my friend, but they don't work like that. There is a quota that Man United have to sell each year to get their money. If no one buys it, Man United will get a much reduced level. Even if it wouldn't even take a year for this plan to work. But I get your point.
If you get them second hand,
you know, I mean, second hand. I mean, just don't buy them at all. Don't buy it at all. Like, honestly, I say this with chest. Right now, giving the club no money for me means you love the club. I've given this example before and it's warped. But if you've got a family member that's got an addiction, you don't love them more by giving them the drugs or giving them the alcohol. You love them more by locking them in a room where they can't touch anything. They might be screaming and in pain for a short period of time as they go cold turkey. But that's real love. Going, oh, I'll go out and buy them for you, love. That's not love. That is weakness. Buying your season tickets, buying your shirt. For me, again, if you're not a Glazer outer, cool. I don't care. But don't tweet Glazer out. Like, I'm seeing some of the people that I've seen a guy message me today and he's like, brother, I've seen some protests have been organized. I'm going to go. I looked at his profile picture. It's him, his missus and kid, all kitted out, full kit, shorts and socks in the new stuff. I'm like, mate, just drop me out. Listen, mate, great call. Thanks for coming on and having your say. Appreciate it, bro.
You.
Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, Man Like Neeks is here. Oh, it's painful. Another painful night, Neeks.
I'm just tired, man. I'm tired. Like, listen, I celebrated the goals, late goal as well. Ronaldo doing what he does, but it's just like, to what end? I always want my team to win, but to what end? We'll get out of the group. We ain't winning the Champions League. Like, I can't look at this game and say, all right, this is a template, something to build on. If we play like this again, we'll beat Man City. We can motor up the league. We can put in a string of performances. We didn't even play well. Even if we played well, I wouldn't have the optimism that, yes, we can take this forward, because we've seen this up and down for the longest while now. But we didn't even play well again. It was, the first game against Atalanta, the second half we played very well, deserved to win the game. Today, I don't even remember a 10-minute spell where you said Man United are on top. It feels like a goal is coming. At no point did it feel like a goal was coming. The goals just come. And there's only so long that can go on for. In the last 2 years, it's got us top 4, but we've been knocked out of the Champions League. The squad has surpassed Ollie. The squad is too big and too high in quality, with too high expectations for what Solskjaer can do. And you said it before, and I was saying it earlier today. We're just treading water. We're not going forward. We're not going back. We're just treading water. And with a squad like this, you can't tread water, because eventually you sink. You can only tread water for so long. So I'm happy with it. I'm happy that we got a good, at the start of the Champions League group, this was always going to be the hardest game away to Atalanta. So a draw's not a bad result. But in the context of how the season's going the last few weeks, it's nothing to celebrate.
Again, as you say, mate, we've had 2 good performances all season. We've had some moments. First half against Everton, second half against Atalanta. But every other game, Tottenham for me is a void game, because Tottenham were beyond poor.
We were always going to win that game against Tottenham, regardless of how we played, what formation,
because they're worse than us. And They were. And do you know what the most painful bit is? Like the last 24, 48 hours, I'm sitting here now and I'm legitimately scared of what they're going to do with Antonio Conte. Not in terms of titles, but it's another hurdle to jump. We've got 3 big rivals that have got world-class managers. That it's mad when I have to sit there and do this as a job. I'm like, oh, can City, maybe they might not win the league because they're not scoring as many, and Liverpool are a bit leaky at the back. I would love to be a little bit poor up front or a little leaky at the back, but in a title race, like the types of and again, we ain't got big problems compared to a Norwich. Like we're fine, but there is a perspective to it. With what we spend, our problems are relegation equivalents of a Norwich because with the squad we've got and the players we've got, and I'm like you, mate. It's like there's a part of me that really wants to beat City at the weekend. There is another part of me that wouldn't mind a 6-7-0 tanking, just so that like I don't want that like in my heart of hearts, but there's almost this part of me.
So they have
like,
to make a decision.
Yeah, it's
but
almost,
but then before the Liverpool game, you would, if someone said we are going to be 4-0 down at halftime and lose to Liverpool, you would say, yeah, Oli will be gone after that. Like you can't. I don't think we can get any lower than we did a week and a half ago. Yet Oli has been given the vote of confidence. And at every other club, the vote of confidence is the dreaded vote of confidence. At Man United, it's the real vote of confidence. We actually believe. We actually trust. The reality is they've got no plan. They've got no plan for who Oli's success is going to be, when that could be, and when to pull the trigger. That's the reality. And that's why we're going to be in this malaise for a long time. And it's unfortunate because I should be more happy today. We're top of the Champions League group, great chance of going through. But I'm just like, if we lost, if we win, I'm good.
And mate, it's because we know we're actually not now. We're second, just but on goal difference behind Villarreal. But but you know as well as I do, even if we get through this group, there's no little spark of hope that we could win it. You know,
Champions League at best. Quarterfinals at best. If we get a good draw in the last 16.
Yeah, exactly.
It's relying on everyone else, not ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Biscuits 89 here says, sorry, Terry, but telling fans to stop going to games is such a bad take. When I go to Old Trafford, it's about more than who the manager is and who owns the club. Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And I don't know what your more is. And it could be, it's a family tradition. Your great-great-grandfather might have helped build the I'm making this up maybe, but could have helped build the stadium. And it's in your blood, it's in your DNA to be at that club. I think the closer you are to it and the closer your connection, I actually think born and bred Mancunians should be more angry than anybody else because their forefathers physically built the football club. The people that you need out are damaging your club. For me, for whatever reason people go to games, for whatever reason people buy the merch, for whatever reason people subscribe to MUTV, whatever the reasons are. And I used to do a lot of those things because I wanted to do my little bit to financially help the club. Financially supporting this club right now is taking us backwards. It is. And I know people look at it as a bad take or a warped way of doing things. But look at it this way. They treat us as customers and they run it as a corporate business first, not a football club. The one way you make any business in this world change its ways is by pulling. Listen, if everybody really cared, people go, oh, it's so bad that Apple got sweatshops in China. You could make Apple get rid of their sweatshops in China tomorrow by nobody using an Apple product again. If you really cared about people being mistreated in the world, you wouldn't do it. If you really cared about Nike not using sweatshops, you wouldn't buy another product from them. You wouldn't buy a jersey of your football club that has a, but you don't care enough. So you buy the football shirt. That's what it really comes down. And I'm not saying, Biscuits, you don't care. I think some people just don't look at it from the lens that I am, that giving the money to Man United is enabling the poor running of the club. They only care about your money. Therefore, you'll have a deep-rooted reason for going, and they prey on that. They prey on it. That's what they do. They prey on that feeling and that emotion to get your money. A football club is a unique business. It's one of the only businesses in the world where there is a genuine love for that organization. Barring your barber, I don't think there are very, very many others like it, bruv. I don't think there is. Just my take anyway. But thank you for the super chat. David T says something here. I can't read it. It's too small. I said goat. Some goat and score against big teams, while others park their tractors beside the bench and get held off before they can even start farming. I think he's having a pop-up Messi there, isn't it? Listen,
listen, Ronaldo is the greatest player of his generation, the greatest player in Champions League history, without a shadow of a doubt. And it's like, whether he's in a super team of Real Madrid, he's in a transition team of Juve, or he's in this poorly constructed, poorly functioning team of Manchester United, he just delivers. And it's like, if anything, the worse the situation, the more he delivers. Like, the guy is just clutch. He's clutch, and I'm just happy to be here for him to be here. And all these people saying Ronaldo's the problem. You're just lying to yourself at this point. Like, the problems are bigger than Ronaldo, and in reality, the problems are anything but Ronaldo. If it wasn't for Ronaldo, listen, we'll be probably bottom of the group right now.
Well, yeah, we'd be out. Yeah, but this is the thing, right? So what I read from all the tactical geniuses on socials is the 3-4-3 or the 3-5-2, whatever you want to call it. I think they're all very similar. It goes, this is called the Ronaldo formation because it's the only formation in football where you don't need to press. Will be resolute, will be hard to break down, and it will suit Ronaldo, but it isn't quite what we want. We're getting fucking opened up again when we played it today.
One ball over the top each
It didn't matter.
All this blaming Ronaldo thing, again, is because when you put Ronaldo's name into a title of an article, the click, the most famous sportsman in the world ever, Instagram followers and that I'm talking about here, right? At the end of the day, like, Ronaldo is just out of this world. What is that noise we're getting from your background, Lincoln?
Is that me? The plane taking off.
Literally, bruv. It sounds like a Hoover. Honestly, bruv, it's really loud. Yeah, it's crazy for me, and he's just ridiculous. Like, looking at him in terms of his performances, I think that's 9 goals and 1 assist in 12 games. So, and he's 36, and he's doing it in a team. And he's doing it in a team that doesn't have a proper. You know, when people say, I actually heard someone the other day say this, and again, it's a Bruno dig, and it's like, I think Bruno's statistics would drop in a better system where there's less freedom. I'm like, based on what? Based on there being less opportunities created? No, like, he's another one when it comes to him. Like, that's how many to 11, 12. That's 12 goal contributions in 15 games. They said his productivity was going to drop. Like, I tweeted it earlier. Bruno and Ronaldo. I beg Man United to give them a proper manager and coaching staff that they deserve. Imagine them with a world-class system wrapped around them.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I mean.
How many chances did Ronaldo get today? 2.
2 chances, 2 goals. And this is what I mean. Like, people, I see a lot of people saying the midfield is so unbalanced. Your squad is so unbalanced. That's why you're not going to win. We have not seen all the permutations of our squad to say it's unbalanced. That is what I'm saying. We may lack a DM, yes, but we have not seen Matic and Donny van de Beek play 10 games together consistently.
Yeah,
we haven't seen Van de Beek and Fred. We haven't seen whatever permutations you want, whatever kind of combinations you can think of. We have not seen all of them. That is why I believe that you can't say we're unbalanced, because we can't even say that we've tried every single solution.
Yeah, I need to ask something here. So I kind of know that Man Matches is like one of our only like proper DMs. But can someone please answer why, whenever he's playing, he is always in between the centre backs? I don't see McTominay do it. I don't see Fred do it. I don't see Pogba do it. I don't see Van der Beek do it. I don't see any of our
because what you said, he's our only defensive midfielder. He's the only one who's going to drop in and get the ball.
Yeah, Leach is right. Do you know what it is, Lincoln? It's certain players have a natural proclivity to do something. He senses where to be and what to do. That's why when people say, "Oh, Bruno is just basically taking goals and assists away from other people," yeah, because Pereira and Lingard were doing it, weren't they? Like, Ronaldo is just a tapping merchant. Yeah, that's why every other striker has tapped in over record number of goals ever in the history of football. It's all a nonsense. We do need a proper player in that position, but a real structure would still surpass that. Because again, look at the team that outplayed us today. Do we want any of their holding midfielders? But no, they outplayed off the park because they got a structure. Like, we just saw Crystal Palace hold their own at the Etihad. Yes, 45 minutes there against 10 men. Why? Structure. It comes down to structure, and people, again, overcomplicate it with weird nuance and using football words that don't exist in football when it comes to players and, you know, weird halfback phrases. And you know what I mean? I've done it as a laugh once with a few videos where I've just looked at a really interesting sounding shape and just said, that's the formation. Because if you look for it, it's there. It ain't real. Do you know what I mean? Solid bank, solid lines with not a lot of room in between, not a lot of room to run. Give a little tactical thing tonight. Atalanta did to stop our counter attack. They just sat their 3 centre backs deep. So there was a gap between the midfield and defenders, but we had no room to pounce because there was nothing to run in behind. And then Ollie's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do now." Like it was so easy to stop us today. Just sit 3 centre backs 10 yards deeper. There's no one to break in behind. And
but
then
even the 11 that we went out with today, it's like I said it from the outset. This like Ronaldo and Rashford as your 2 strikers ain't gonna work because both of them are very direct. They're both kind of focus on the goal, so kind of just in that direction. Neither of them really hold up the ball, link the play, etc. Now, that's just one element where you have to get the balance of who you're going to play in what positions. You had Cavani and Ronaldo against Spurs, and you saw Cavani drops deep, links the play, runs the channels. If you're going to play Ronaldo and you're going to drop Cavani, then you play Martial. Or you have 2 creators behind Ronaldo in Sancho and Bruno. You don't play Rashford and Ronaldo and Bruno. Who is going to hold the ball? Who is going to link the play? Like, it's
ball
literally a
progression.
case of, let me just throw all the attackers on, and the more players we have around the box, someone's going to score. That's literally how we're playing right now.
Yeah, because that Cavani substitution was so frustrating because he did it in the wrong flipping order. He did it. That substitution should have came towards the end when we were making chances to score, not when we're not even creating chances in the first place to score. Van der Beek, Sancho should have came out a lot earlier, give them a chance to actually create something. And then if that's not working still, all right, Cavani, we need an extra person that could make a movement to bring in the goal. He did it in the wrong order. And this is what we're tired of. Like in the group chat, they was talking about, but Pogba being crap is not on Ollie, or the players choosing when to switch on the intensity is not on Ollie. No, it may not be. But the choosing of the personnel, the tactical changes,
I would say, KJ, if it's 1 or 2 players playing bad, you put on the 1 or 2 players. But literally, it's 1 or 2 players playing good. Like Bailly and Ronaldo, the only players you can say, I had a good game today. So who do you put that on? It can't be on each of the individual players.
And it's consistent. You know, there's a comment here from Jamal that says, "Where is that winger you spent 90 million on? Is he dead?" Sean says,
where's he been? Yeah, go on, sorry.
No, go on, mate.
Oh yeah. So like before Varane got injured, and then we had to switch up the system and that. Like Bruno was basically playing like in like a right room position in the front 3, and then I'm like, we've been chasing the right winger that we now have at our club for about 2 years, and then he's not playing in the game against Atalanta where we're playing with front 3, and then Bruno is playing right wing instead. It's like before
hear you completely. I hear you, man. Sean here says Ronaldo is the GOAT. No matter what system he scores, he's sick. Everyone else is just getting sick of taking the V.
Wait, what?
I don't know what it means, but I was reading them out. I hear, do you know what it is? Yeah, Ronaldo again just proved it. I mean, everyone that was saying he was finished and washed, he ain't going to do anything. All that keeps going. Again, it makes me angry though. Imagine him with our proper system and our proper. It begs belief. Listen, everyone that's tuned in this evening, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Over 1,000 likes, which is amazing and humbling as always. If you haven't hit it yet, hit it before you go. Subscribe to The Terrace. Back tomorrow with more content. Until then, take care.